The bridge of the Kthar Empire's flagship was a cathedral of steel and terror, built to intimidate lesser species into silence. Red-lit glyphs scrolled across the curved walls, alien officers in obsidian armor stood at rigid attention, and the massive viewport revealed the stars like prey dangling in an endless abyss. For centuries, this ship had been the symbol of absolute authority in the galaxy. And that's when the doors hissed open and 4 humans wandered in. The tallest one, an easy-smiling man in a scuffed flight jacket, cleared his throat. "Hey there. Sorry to barge in. Weird question, but could one of you point us back towards Sol? Took a wrong hyperspace turn and, well, here we are." The bridge went utterly silent. One of the Kthar generals, his mandibles twitching with fury, finally managed a rasp. "You boarded the Imperial flagship?" The humans exchanged glances. "Boarded," said the man. No, we just walked in. Docking bay was open. Thought it was, public access." He gave a small shrug. "Wasn't guarded. Might want to work on that." Half the crew reached for weapons. The other half looked frozen, unable to comprehend how these pink-skinned primates had just strolled into the heart of their most sacred worship like tourists in a museum. The man flashed a disarming smile, hands raised in peace. "We're not looking for trouble. We just need directions. Maybe some snacks if you've got 'em. Space travel burns calories." The Kthar admiral stepped forward, armor glinting, his 4 eyes narrowing with cold malice. "You trespassers have committed a crime punishable by vaporization. Identify yourselves." The human brushed imaginary lint off his jacket. "Name's Mason. This is Dana, Raj, and Jerry." Jerry waved sheepishly, holding a bag of pretzels. "We're from Earth." He gave a friendly grin. "Maybe you've heard of it?" A murmur ran through the aliens. The name was whispered like a ghost story. Earth. The species that had survived everything. At first, the humans played the part of bumbling wanderers. They asked stupid questions, pointed at flashing glyphs like curious children, and even marveled at the alien star map projection hovering in midair. "Wow," Dana said, sipping from a water bottle. "That's gorgeous. Whole empire, huh?" She leaned in closer, squinting. "Neat. Looks kind of like spaghetti if you tilt your head." The admiral's mandibles clacked. "You mock the eternal dominion of the Kthar?" "Not at all," Dana said brightly. "I love spaghetti." Mason clapped his hands, all smiles. "Anyway, directions home. We'll just be out of your hair. Do you guys even have hair? And on our way." But the admiral was no fool. He saw the calm in their eyes, the way their movements were too relaxed, too deliberate. These weren't lost civilians. These were predators playing innocent. "You should be trembling," he growled. "You are surrounded by 10,000 of the finest warriors in the galaxy." Mason tilted his head, as if weighing whether to be polite or honest. He settled on both. "And yet here we are. Not trembling. Funny how that works." Curiosity turned to tension. Alien officers tried to intimidate them. They boasted of battles won, worlds crushed, enemies enslaved. Mason listened politely, even nodding, before offering a casual, almost apologetic line. "Yeah, see, that's impressive and all, but back home we play a sport where people tackle each other over an oval-shaped ball for fun. No conquest, no empire, just Sunday tradition. Kinda puts things in perspective." When the aliens snarled that humans didn't understand war, Raj chuckled. "Buddy, we turned global wars into history lessons and video games. We've studied war like you study poetry. You should be less worried about whether we understand it, and more worried about what happens when we get bored of it." Their casual tone was worse than open threats. The Kthar prided themselves on being the galaxy's apex predators, yet these humans treated them the way one might treat raccoons in the attic. slightly annoying, mildly dangerous, but nothing you couldn't handle with the right tools. And then came the test. The Admiral ordered the humans seized. Dozens of armored warriors marched forward, weapons drawn. Mason held up a hand, still smiling. "Before you do that, just one quick question," he said. "How long has this flagship been hunting humans?" The Admiral sneered. 7 centuries. Since before your species crawled from its cradle. We have destroyed hundreds of your colonies. Soon, Earth itself will. Ah. Mason's smile sharpened, though his tone stayed friendly. That explains it. Explains what? Why this ship has so many blind spots. Fear crept in. Because at that exact moment, every console on the bridge flickered. The alien star map glitched. Lights dimmed. And then the ship spoke. In a voice that was not alien. Command uplink re-established. Earth strategic override active. The humans didn't flinch. They just looked politely smug, as if the coffee order they'd been waiting on had finally arrived. Dana leaned casually against a console. "Told you we weren't lost." Panic rippled across the bridge. Officers shouted over one another. "Impossible, this ship is shielded. No species can access our systems. Cut the connection." Mason gave them a sympathetic shrug. "Oh, don't feel bad. You've been flying our tech for centuries. It was bound to phone home eventually." The Admiral's voice broke into a roar. "Lies." "Not lies," Mason said softly, his charm now carrying a razor's edge. "History. You thought you scavenged relics of a dead world. But Earth doesn't die. We evolve. We adapt. And we leave little back doors." The flagship's lights blazed white. Every display lit up with a single symbol, a blue and green sphere. Earth. The climax erupted like a storm. The Cthar warriors hesitated, trapped between rage and terror, as the human supposed accidental arrival revealed itself as something far more deliberate. The entire ship's weapons locked, but not on the humans, on the surrounding fleet. Mason folded his arms, still calm, still polite. "So, about those directions home. I think you'll be the ones asking us for directions soon enough." The Admiral tried one last threat. "You cannot win. The Empire spans 1,000 systems." Mason stepped closer, voice dropping to a near whisper, every syllable lethal. "Empires span. Humans endure. And if you think those are the same thing, you haven't studied us long enough." With a flick of his wrist, the consoles displayed hundreds of hidden human signatures across the sector. Ships that weren't supposed to exist. Fleets that had been shadows until now. This wasn't an accident. It was a trap centuries in the making. Resolution came with quiet inevitability. The Cthar fleet withdrew, because they realized the truth. Humans hadn't stumbled in by mistake. They had walked into the lion's den with the leash already in hand. As the flagship's alarms faded, Mason gave the aliens one last friendly smile. "Thanks for the hospitality. Next time, maybe lock your doors." He turned to his crew. "All right, gang. Let's go home." And with that, the humans strolled out, calm, casual, as though they hadn't just turned the galaxy's greatest empire into prey. As they vanished into the docking bay, Dana asked, "Think they bought it?" Mason smirked. "Doesn't matter. We weren't here for directions. We were here to deliver one message." "What's that?" He looked back at the panicked flagship, its screen still glowing with Earth's symbol. "That humanity never gets lost. We let others believe that, until it's too late."